not relaxed then, clearly.
Yep. Yep. I'm excited. I got notes. I cried, got it all out, and then watched Survivor and didn't cry. And it
There
was
we
like,
go.
okay,
So then you're like, now you're ready. You're like emotionally
I'm
balanced.
balanced.
Emotionally balanced and ready to talk about this episode.
And then after this, I'm going to go watch a gay witches show. So,
That sounds like a great day.
it's not bad. Hello and welcome to Saving People, Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where the idiots can finally see their dad.
Finally.
I'm so happy.
I'm so happy for you.
Me too. Thank you. Today we're pulling up to season 7, episode 19 of Grave Importance.
Which lovely little pun there.
Oh, yes, honestly.
Lovely little pun.
Fucking loved it. It was a good little nod to the story going on and like a little, well, it's actually very important, this episode.
Yeah, it
For
actually
Noah
is.
in particular. Needs to watch that one ASAP.
Yep.
Speaking of, I am aforementioned Noah. My pronouns are he, him.
And I'm August, and my pronouns are they, them.
And the question of the day I have for my co-host is one that I didn't come up with because earlier I thought that it was August doing it.
We can also not have a question. We can just be like, and we're your hosts for today.
If there was...
It's going to be, I know always when you're coming up with a question super on the fly, it's going to be just the most out-of-pocket, strange question, and I'm here for it.
If there was a bird that you saw yourself as in a reincarnation type of situation, what would it be and why?
I want to be one of those. I'm going to give you the first thing that popped into my head.
Of course.
I want to be one of those, one of those little like hand-sized. Oh, sorry, I'm going to say that again while my phone is not.
I like the Star Trek noise making it in, though.
Okay, then you can leave it in. You can just leave this whole thing in. I want to be one of those like little, I'm not picky on the exact breed. One of those like little birds that's like little chubby bird that fits in your hand and is like brightly colored.
Like a chickadee.
Like a chickadee. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to be. Okay. That's how I see myself. So
shit, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I've gotten really into like bird videos on Instagram. My feed now shows me them now.
Yes.
I was never like a bird. I never disliked birds, but I was never like a bird kid or like I had a sibling who was really into birds as a kid. But sense. I just was like whatever.
Was it Sam?
Yeah,
of course it was. Okay.
And
sorry, Sam, we love you.
I don't know why I said sibling. I could have just said Sam.
I know.
I wanted to. I don't know why I wanted to protect their privacy.
I like that I could guess
bird interests. But I recently got really into bird videos, and so now my algorithm will just show me like a variety of birds, like wild birds, but also like domesticated birds and people's pets.
Yes.
I'm really, really obsessed with the bacon pancakes bird, the bird that sings
making bacon pancakes. Song.
Yeah, that's that. Now
that sounds about right.
But really, any cute bird,
any little floof.
So you did ask a question I actually had an opinion on. So
that's good. I like that.
Yeah, kudos to you. What about you?
As far as I've got like two options really.
Okay.
One is a woodpecker because first of all, they've got such style in class. They look gorgeous.
They do.
I wish I had that much style in class, but I don't. As I record here shirtless, it's fine.
You've got the personality of like a...
Thank you. I like to think so.
Stylish woodpecker.
I will slam my head into a problem time and time again until it fits. It works.
And then eventually it'll work because that's how it works.
That's how it works. I like it.
You got the skills.
Secondary is probably hummingbird because, again, gorgeous, but also moving way too fast. Like their brains can't really comprehend what they're doing. And they're like, okay, what's up? I can fly backwards.
Hummingbird.
Oh, what's up?
The personification of... or the bird sonification of ADHD.
Sorry. Bird sonification.
I said personification and I went, they're not people. I need another word for that.
I love that. Oh, fuck.
And it came out and it sounded so smooth.
It's too early to have the episode title dropped. Like, fuck.
I mean, yeah, about something that's not even tangentially related.
Not at all.
The episode. Fuck. We should get into the actual episode.
That'd be a good idea. Now that you've met your bird hosts for today, It's time to catch you up on what you may have missed. If you have not watched Supernatural recently, here's what you've missed on the road so far. First up, August is going to recap the show up to this point. Are you ready?
I am just about ready. I'm trying to remember if someone's done a very Bobby-centric recap, and I'm pretty sure they have, and it might have even been me.
Who would have done such a thing?
I feel like you did. I'm trying to remember how recently we did it, and if I can get away with doing another one.
This co-host is not going to say no. This co-host is going to say yes, please.
We're going to just start talking, and we're going to see what happens. I think I am ready.
Alrighty, 3, 2, 1, go.
So there's this hunter named Bobby, and he becomes a hunter because his wife dies, is possessed by a demon, and he has to kill the demon, kills her. And he becomes this like resource for other hunters. He is really connected to these particular 2 boys, the Winchester boys. Kind of becomes a father figure for them and their father, and helps them stop the apocalypse. And then dies on a hunt, but is maybe not actually dead, and there's been signs.
Nice. Okay, that was good.
All the relevant information you need.
Angel
got a little lost in the middle of there, but we pulled it out at the end.
It's Supernatural, sometimes you get a little lost in the middle and you make it work.
We are officially really kind of in the middle of Supernatural now.
Yeah, we are so close to like the official midway point, right?
Yeah, and halfway through season 8.
Okay.
Yep. I'm gonna figure out which episode it is. We'll do a party.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
We'll have a fun time. We should make a cake.
Yes.
Make a celebration cake.
Each of us makes a quarter of a cake.
So just little cake?
No. So it's like a
so it's like a puzzle. We can put them together.
Yes, exactly. So then we take a picture, and then it only makes sense if they're all put next to each other with like icing and whatnot.
We now absolutely have to do that. We have to have a cake design. We have to do a little ghosty cake with a little rainbow.
Yes, with the rainbow. Oh,
that should be a design that I feel like that's a design we could pull off on a cake.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not a hard design. Anyway, before we get there though, Noah is going to recap this week's episode, so that is of grave importance. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. I believe in you. 3, 2, 1, go.
Bobby's back! Okay, so anyway, Bobby comes back as a ghost, and he's like interacting with the boys. We see him fully following them, and he interacts. They go to this, get a call from this hunter who we've never met before, right? I don't remember, but
no, we haven't.
Annie, and she dies in this house, and it's like a murder house from American Horror Story. Basically, it's like all the ghosts that die there stay there, and so then Bobby shows up and starts trying to like help everybody like get some rest and whatnot, and then he actually physically manifests in the real world to show up to the boys, and they have a real heart-to-heart, and it broke me.
Well done. Well done.
My neighbor's gonna hate me, but you know what? That's his problem.
That's his problem.
As for our problems, it's time to get started on that hunt now that we've all gotten caught up. Today we're pulling up to season 7, episode 19 of Grave Importance through the theme of influences.
We are like 4 episodes. We're like so close to the end of the season.
We're so close.
And so also like no big story plot, like other than Bobby, no Leviathans in this episode.
Yeah, the past like 3 episodes.
Like there's been references, but like no Leviathan plot really at all this episode, which is very, very interesting. Because I don't have anything to say on that other than just I noted it.
Party on Garth didn't have any, and Born Again Identity didn't have any.
Born Again Identity did.
No,
it had demons. Sorry, it had
demons.
References to Leviathans. It didn't actually have like a main Leviathan plot. But it still felt more connected to the larger plot, I feel like.
Yeah.
This episode feels very contained.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, like, I love it for, honestly. I like this episode's a great episode.
Oh, yes. I very much enjoyed it. Okay.
How do you feel, Noah?
I sobbed at the end.
I'm so glad that you didn't know Bobby was coming back as a ghost until it was, like, happening.
I had hoped beyond a shadow of doubt that he came back at some point, and I knew, like, obviously they're going to use him for some emotional beats here and there. I didn't know he was coming back this season, and that was great.
That was very, very quick.
Getting to see a ghost figure out how to interact with the real world, fucking phenomenal. Love
the lore
that shit.
in this episode is so
so good.
Fun. Like, honestly, we haven't had ghost like lore in a long time.
Since like 4 or 3, maybe. Like it's been
like
ages.
Like we learned so much about how ghosts kind of work in this episode, or
Yeah.
like how they can work. And like again, I don't know how consistent it is across like all the seasons because
Fair.
it's supernatural.
Yeah.
And someone the whiteboard of supernatural writers and their lore, like things get forgotten, but
and erased and
rewritten and yeah, and misunderstood wildly. But it's so interesting to see like a ghost figuring out how to be a ghost.
Yes.
Both Bobby and
Annie.
And
getting the note, like the mentions of like it was a month before Bobby even realized he was still here. That's why Sam couldn't contact him. Like it wasn't that Bobby was only with Sam or with Dean.
Well, no, I think that's part of it as well. Like I think it could be either.
Okay, fair.
I guess it depends exactly when Sam did.
It was beautiful. I kind of hit on something with theorizing way earlier in the show about like I want to see a vampire who is like a hunter. Like
you did. You've been like beating me like I want to see a monster be a hunter.
Yeah, as a hunter, but like and see that like back and forth. I never would have hoped that it would be my boy Bobby.
Right, that it would literally be Bobby and it would be a ghost.
Yeah, but I fucking loved it. It was so interesting.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting. Like, and like they talk about, there's so much like interesting lore. But like, first off, I was interested in the fact that like Annie, like, I don't know that it's pretty rare that we've seen a ghost who doesn't know that they're a ghost. Like Annie doesn't know that she's dead.
For like a good 15, 20 after it happens. Like,
yeah.
Like
she has that realization like when she's interacting with Bobby.
Yeah.
Which again is rare because again, usually like, yeah. And the whole conversation that her and Bobby have about like the Reaper, and then she's like, I don't even see a Reaper. Like she didn't choose to stay. Like she didn't, which is I wonder is maybe connected to the ghost that killed her, and like that's part of why. Sorry, what were you about to say?
No, I'm curious about what summons a Reaper. Like, what is the defining factor for that? Like, why didn't she see a Reaper? Was it just too quick? Was Bobby's like slow and drawn out, and he's like,
right? So you got more opportunity.
Touched by an angel, literally on his soul, like
right. Bobby's got more connection to, but again, this is a hunter, so you'd think that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I can understand like just a normie.
Yeah.
Like a civilian, like not.
But even like Tessa shows up for people and reaps them. Some of them are pretty quick too. Like,
but a lot of them don't. I guess yeah. I think the idea like a Reaper always like shows up. Like a that's sort of part of the process of dying. Okay. But how explicitly you get like Bobby knew that the like he had a choice to stay or go. Whereas I feel like most people
assume
if they
there's
fight
no choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they fight it, they might become a ghost. If they've got unfinished business, they might become a ghost. But it's not because they've said consciously to the Reaper, I need to stay with my boys. Like I'm not leaving. Whereas like Bobby was like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah,
like,
I know your job. I'm not gonna let you do it though.
I also like know what that means. Like I know that means I become a ghost.
Yeah. I'm a little crushed that, Bobby's not up in heaven having his little movie night with the boys every night.
Well, and like
that hurts.
What does Dean say? Dean says like
he says you should be up in heaven having beer at the Harvells. Like
Dean's like you should have been able to rest. Like hunters don't get a good endings. If you should have been able to have a good end, and like they've been to heaven, like they know that that's like a real possibility.
Because they've been
like
there.
If Bobby's happiness was being at Harvells at rest, then that's what he would have gotten. And he doesn't because he's not there.
So much that they end their interaction with Bobby with an argument. That hurt me to my core.
Yeah.
Had me pissed. It was bad. I didn't like it. I was like,
fair. Are you pissed at the boys? Is that what you were pissed at?
A little bit. Like,
okay, but like you understand the point.
I know. I see where they're coming from. Absolutely. And if I had a father who was going through that same thing, I can't say I would have acted differently.
Right.
But like, come on. He stayed for you. And I get that it's really complex. I'm not gonna lie. It's really painful because like, yeah, you want your father to rest if you couldn't save him. But also, you've got the flask. You can put him to rest whenever you need. So why not make the most of this opportunity to get a little extra time with him?
Which maybe they'll get to. I feel like they're sort of just in shock that this is the reality, and they've only ever known like even if they technically yes, the flask is there as as a failsafe, they can burn it if they need to. Like the situation where they would have to do that would be like Bobby going vengeful.
Yeah.
Or like
which would be
evil.
Painful to watch
It would be awful
both
for them
and me.
Yeah, so like I feel like that's part of like, you know, like
Their
Dean particularly is so heartbroken. Even like he says, like, I mean, we're jumping way ahead to the end of the episode, but
we'll go back. I promise, listeners.
Yeah, we'll go back.
This is just what's important to me right now.
Valid. But he talks about like it's not the natural order of things. Everything is supposed to end. He's supposed to, and then he can't finish the sentence. And then he goes, what are the odds this ends well? Like he kind of is going like, this is going to still end. Like there is an ending. Something is going to happen. And like now, what are the odds it ends well?
And then the slow pan to Bobby in the back seat. Fuck me up.
Hearing it all.
Hate this.
Because of course he's there, and of course he's hearing it. And they also have to know he's hearing it.
Yeah.
Like they have to know the chances of him, like that he's there. They got the flask with them still.
Yeah. But Dean's not wearing it anymore. He's not keeping it in his pocket. He's put it in the trunk. Like
Yeah. Which I wonder if they again, the trunk is like so warded. It's really interesting that Bobby is able to
manifest still.
And I wonder if maybe that's his connection with the boys, that the warding doesn't work the same on him. Also, like something happened to him to make him suddenly very visible.
Yeah.
So there seems to be a different quality to him than like some ghosts, but we don't really know what it is.
My guess would be that when this, super ghost who's been feasting on other ghosts, which we'll get to that in a second. When he tries to feast on Bobby is the exact same second that he gets his bones burned. And so I'm thinking all of his power went into Bobby.
So that's why Bobby is like a much more powerful,
more than Annie, who has also been trying to train.
More corporeal.
Yeah, that would be my guess and my hope.
I feel like that's a valid. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember if we ever get kind of that
answer on that
explicitly answered or not. Okay. Sure, if we do, we'll have to pay attention and see.
Best believe I will.
You're paying attention to anything with Bobby. Other like ghost lore.
Yes.
We get this like information that like ghosts have a lifespan, which isn't something we've previously been told.
And it's sort of a cop out because they're
a little bit.
Yeah, we have an expiration date, but it's different for every person. And so all those, Victorian ghosts that we've seen over the past 6 seasons, they just had a different expiration date than these ones.
Yeah,
fuck off.
It doesn't technically contradict the previous canon, but also we're like, wait, ghosts just can like wear out? Okay, that we've literally never seen that.
No, I feel like it's more. No, that doesn't even make sense either. I was gonna say it might be the fact that they're trapped in this one house, like they were lured there and then killed, and that might be like what's making them stagnant. But we've seen so many ghosts that are like
usually
kept to one location.
Ghosts are like many ghosts are trapped. Like that's often the thing. That's often the problem is that they're stuck. So it makes you wonder, like, is that sort? And again, also, is that kind of connected to their specific circumstances? Because maybe it's just the ghosts in this house that are like that, and maybe it has something to do with all this power that this one ghost is exerting, and maybe his influence is kind of like creating this,
corroding them.
Yeah, and they don't know any different. Like they only know the ghosts in the house. They don't know. I don't know if we've ever established that ghosts. I don't think ghosts can like generally communicate with each other outside of like their physical outside of like
the first time that we've seen like more than 2 ghosts in the same area.
No, but every time we've seen more than 2 ghosts, it's always been like a few people who died in the same house, even if it was decades apart.
Okay.
This is like one of the bigger groups of ghosts I think we've seen, but we've definitely seen at least like 4 or 5 ghosts in a single place before.
Okay. That's cool. When Bobby walks in with the boys and they're like, wow, creepy empty house, and he's like, oh my god, there's like 30 people in here. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. So Bobby, right at the beginning, when he first sees the ghosts, he calls the ghosts his people, which I think was very cute. And then he has this whole little moment where he's like, hi, I'm Bobby. I'm a ghost looking for a little ghost orientation. Je m'appelle Bobby. Like, what? Why the French? You know
French automatically, sir? Like, what?
So it's so like Bob. And again, there's no one else he's like impressing here. He's just like being a silly little guy.
That's just for him.
It's delightful to see Bobby's personality, like the fun parts of his personality shine in this episode.
Especially because like that speaks so much more to his character, knowing that he's dead knowing that he has avoided his ticket to the afterlife.
Yep.
And he's still just being a silly, goofy guy protecting his boys. Like, oh, my man.
He is so just like, and he says kind of something to that effect later on. Like he says like, life wasn't comfy. Why should death be? And like that's his rationale for being like, I didn't want to leave. Like, why would I leave? Like, what's the point? I want to be here. So I'm going to be here.
Help you guys. I can walk through walls and give you hints, give you clues. Like,
yeah. He's like, that's worth the risk, which time will tell, you know. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about Bobby's like approach to this?
I respect the fuck out of it, honestly.
That's fair. I should have known that was your answer.
Yeah, no, I respect it so very much. It makes me sad because Bobby does deserve to rest and he does deserve to have his peace. But I love him so much and I love how much he loves the boys. And so I can't blame him for trying to hold on to protecting them. Like, I can't hold that against him at all. If Ghost Bobby gets, vaped up and erased and he doesn't get to go to heaven, I'm going to destroy this podcast and burn it all down and myself with it.
Oh boy. Okay. So
no, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. But
I hate to break it to you,
I'm gonna be so mad.
That we know about ghosts, like we don't.
But they're in tight with death, so they could work out a deal.
You mean the Winchesters and Bobby in general?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Didn't stole from him not that long ago, so tight might be the wrong word.
But he didn't get smited off of the earth, so
right. So that's basically like.
That's tight.
We're friends. When it comes to death.
Because we don't know anything about what happens to the ghosts after they vanish like that, right?
Right. After they are destroyed or burn out or whatever the situation is. That's true. We see fire. We usually see like fiery explosions, but that's it. We just it's just sort of implied what happens next.
Which, okay, yeah, if they get sent to hell, they're also tight. Specifically, Bobby is tight with the king of hell. So
again,
Bobby made out with him.
Right now, is that still true?
No. The boys, maybe not. Bobby, yeah. They had tongue-on-tongue contact. They're fine.
Right. Crowley's gonna but again, what's Crowley gonna do? Make him middle management?
Maybe like comfortable down there at least, like he's like, hey, hang out, you can have your little like
the luxury suite in hell.
Yeah, exactly. I bet that's pretty smacking, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, probably not bad. Crowley likes fine things.
Crowley does like fine things. Speaking of making out,
okay, yeah, we do need to talk about this.
It's a little wild that both of the brothers and Bobby have all hooked up with this one hunter. Why?
This is really this is one of those like really a writing choice situations where I'm like, who, which one of you? I'm like, gun to your head. Which one of you did this? Which one of you did this? Actually, it was Buck Lemming. This is written by two writers in the fandom who have a interesting reputation, and some of that I can't share now, but they have an interesting reputation.
Okay, what have they written so far that I've seen?
Let me just give you a quick check because I
also have to
believe
I'm
pulling it up.
That it was Dean first and then Bobby.
Oh,
and
why
then
didn't
Sam.
you think about I did not think about the order at all. That's
because we know Sam's was when he was soulless.
Right.
I'm just confused
Sam's
about like why nobody shared information about like, oh well, I hooked up with this one hunter named Danny. Like it could have been Bobby first, then Dean, then Bobby again, then Sam, then maybe Bobby again. I don't know, because they seem to have like a lot more familiarity than the boys do with her.
Okay, I'm trying to find the specific list of what they both wrote. Okay, so Eugenie Ross Lemming and Brad Buckner are so Eugenie Ross Lemming is married to Robert Singer, the executive producer, but she wrote with Brad Buckner, so they were part of the original writing team. I'm just taking this from the wiki, just kind of as the background. I just want to credit where I'm getting it from.
Smart.
So they wrote Route 666 in season 1.
Okay, they're already out.
Yeah, they're Cassie, already like a little sus. Like Cassie's great, but everything else in that episode is wildly wow. And then they departed the writing team after season 1. They came back in season 7. So the other 2 episodes that they've written in season 7 are Shut Up, Dr. Phil and The Slice Girls.
Okay.
A lot of the reasons we have feelings about them come later.
Yeah. Okay.
And like again, they've written some good episodes. They've also written some episodes, and again, they also have some fingers in some finale stuff that we're not big fans of.
Yeah, don't be fingering the finale.
Where was the point I was making? It's gone.
Sometimes I say something that throws August off so badly.
Sometimes every episode we're on together, whenever we have 2 episodes, there's always a moment.
At this point, you'd be used to it.
You think I can recover. My point with them is that sometimes they make interesting choices when it comes to their writing, and
this is definitely one of them.
The choice to be like, what'd be really funny if all 3 of these men
who are related,
who are family members to each other, like one who is like not blood related, but is like they're
just as good as
effectively their father, and then these 2 blood related brothers. What if like just as a silly little thing, they had all hooked up with the same person, but like not someone we've met before, just like someone we randomly introduced for 1 episode only to kill immediately,
and then kill her off, and
like
then...
what? And it's so cool. And they were like, they reduced her down to like Hunter and slept with all 3 of them. And that's weird. It's weird
to say the least. And then they make her go face to face with her own corpse. Like,
right. Like this.
What is up with that
woman? And also she seems cool. Like I wish we had gotten more actual, like her dynamic with Bobby is like super great.
Oh, it's so good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Love a good like introduction of like a potentially really interesting Hunter. Hate it when it's a woman and she's immediately dead.
I'm going to cut that so it sounds like you just said, I hate it when it's a woman.
You're not allowed to do that. You can't misrepresent me.
I would not.
No, I know you wouldn't.
That would be so funny, though. No, but I absolutely agree. Supernatural already has demonstrated their lack of ability to portray strong female characters for more than a season,
right?
Or 1 episode a season,
right? You're like, can you write a good female character, but then like resist killing her off immediately for like, because again, she also kind of gets killed off like to further she entirely gets killed off to further the plot of this episode. Yeah. Like, why did she? And like, but like, why couldn't Bobby have like teamed up with like another ghost that was like already dead?
Yeah,
it didn't have to. Why did it have to be like the Hunter that was like an old friend?
It could have been more interesting that the boys like see there's a bunch of missing kids, go to this house, and then Bobby meets the other ghosts and they tell him something's wrong, and then like the boys leave because they can't find anything, and then he gets them to go back. Like that could have been just as interesting of a plot.
You could even have Annie involved, but like not. Or you could have like if you really need her to be a ghost, what if she's if you really want her to be both a ghost and like an old friend of Bobby's, like what if this is like a cold case? What if this is what if she's been there for a while? What if they show up because this case has been like something's happening and then she happens to be there, but it's like someone they think has been dead for 5 years. Like that would feel less insulting than like killing her off within the episode just so that Bobby has someone to communicate with.
Yeah, especially because like she walks in there without assault shotgun or any sort of like weapon.
And she's a hunter.
She's a professional. She knows how to do this shit. Like, why are we diminishing her to, I'm going to bring this tiny flashlight and hope that that's fine.
And then immediately get killed in this like very haunted place where lots of people die that you're going without backup and without
she's got evidence of multiple people over the past like 100 years going missing there. So why would she not bring in any backup? Well, she calls for backup, sure, but then she still goes in there before the backup gets there without a weapon.
Right? Like, you're like, and like she's clearly been a hunter for long enough that like all 3 of these men know her
from different
reasonably
hunts.
Well from different hunts. They've all hunted with her separately, so like she's not. That makes her not a new hunter, because we would assume like if she connected with Sam when he was soulless, that's like a year ago.
Yep.
Dean has got to have been before that, and Bobby has also got to have been.
It would have had to be a time when Dean's alone. Like Sam wasn't there for that.
So like chunks. Like there's only a handful of times in season 4 and 5 where that's true.
And
so like realistically, is it like back in season like
I hope not. It can't be before he picks up Sam from Stanford.
Like
that put him in like
25.
I mean,
could put him as early as it could put him as young as 25 or as old as 25 if it's before. But again, then why have we never heard of her? Why have we never heard of her?
Why has she never been called up at any point?
Again, like I feel like they this is the thing. When you have good characters with history, like Ellen and Joe and Ash and like Rufus and like literally everyone else you've killed off, and then you kill them all off, suddenly you're like, oh, we needed like an old friend, and you're like, every old friend is dead. So you have to like invent a new one, but like you don't have the clout of being like we as audience members like don't know that they're important. Like how cool it would have been if this was like Ellen.
That would have or
Joe.
It would have been great as long as they didn't kill her off in this episode.
Well, yeah, obviously. Obviously.
It would have been great.
Run into the same problem.
Exactly.
But like how great it would have been if there was like another female hunter that we had actually known for longer.
Okay, God forbid. What if it was Jodie? Like we've already got that bond with all three of them.
And then again, don't kill her.
Die. Yeah, but like if the narrative assumes that this person's going to die, I think Jodie's the only recurring character that we like have left. So like
Garth, Jodie and Garth.
And Garth.
That's it.
You're right.
And we just saw Garth, so like Jodie has more emotional clout at this point.
Yeah, I think at that point I'd prefer it to be a new person.
Right.
But like, come on.
But then like we run into the same problem.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's a bad.
Like, why
cycle.
did you invent a character just
fix
to
the
kill
story?
Them?
Don't kill the character.
Do better. Like I know it's a monster story, and like there's gonna be people who are gonna die, but like also you start to lose some of your emotional stakes because I don't care. Like again, as much as she's cool, I don't care that much that she dies because like I don't know her. Like yes, we know that she's got history with them, but like that's all we know about her.
And it's mostly implied to be sexual history, like, and that's
which again is kind of gross,
kind of undercutting the main like trauma that she's going through in the episode. And it's like okay,
and reduces her down to that.
Looking at her dead body, and all the boys can talk about is like, oh, actually, so we all, whoops,
like what? That's so weird. It's so weird.
Especially at the end when Bobby's like talking to them and they're like arguing about that stuff. And he's like, well, you didn't know her like I did. And they're both like
ew,
okay,
gross, disgusting. She's dead.
Just burned her body.
Like you can all be sad about this. It's not a competition.
No.
Also, like you could be just as sad about like again, just because even if it, like Bobby is like the implication is that Bobby's closer to her because he's had a relation, he's like slept with her, and you're like that's not how closeness works. For one.
Yeah, most of the time. You're right.
Like it can, like you can be close for that reason, but like you can also be equally close to someone where you like
if you've hunted with them before, like you've been in dangerous, traumatic situations together.
I was gonna give like examples, and then all my examples were ones that are really queer coded, and I was like, we've been making the argument that they have been sleeping together, so that's kind of negating my argument a little bit. But like,
okay, yeah.
I don't know. Sam and Dean were really sad when Bobby died, and they wouldn't like someone who slept with Bobby wouldn't be more sad. Like
no, because Rufus is already dead.
That's not how that works. It's not how that
Jodie
works.
was just as sad. So but also pulled her shit together to get the boys out of their funk. So
Buffy's a queen. Anyway,
this episode was a lot. I liked the effects that they did for Bobby and Annie and a bunch of the other ghosts, but like that really made them look extra pale.
I was going to mention this as well.
Extra like sickly almost.
The effects and the makeup are like working in tandem. Yeah, very good.
Very good. Also, the effect of the ghost disintegration, absorption.
Yeah,
looked cool as fuck.
Okay, but the first time I thought it looked better as the episode went on. I thought the first time looked kind of Doctor Who in a derogatory way, and I was like, "That's bad. That looks bad."
I loved that. That was a good thing for me. It looked like a atomic representation, right? Of like the atom with like the way it's like, and it's like, what?
This looked really silly, and it made me laugh.
Yes,
I did think it got better as the episode went on, and I liked the ghost effects in general. Like I think Supernatural does ghosts in general really.
I like their staticky fade in, fade out. Like they're there, they're gone.
Like they got that in season 1, and they've held it true, and it still works.
It's grown on me for sure. Like it wasn't as well done in season 1 and 2, but
for sure
it has gotten a lot better. And like now it's like, oh yeah, that looks weird, affectionate, like parentheses affectionate.
Okay, also fascinating, like one of the coolest pieces of lore I think in this episode is when the one ghost is talking about like there's basically we get the information that there's 2 ways to do things as a ghost. There's 2 ways to like basically
interact with the physical world, and yeah,
and that's Zen and anger, and we knew about the anger
rage
one.
Zen and rage,
right,
like not
rage,
just
rage,
like
rage,
anger, but it's like strong emotional anger,
like uncontrollable.
Yeah, and so that's the option that we've seen the majority of times in Supernatural. We've seen vengeful spirits come out and start throwing shit around because I don't know, their ex-husband or ex-wife or like somebody is doing something and they're like, she's here.
Whatever.
Fucking, they're always mad most of the time.
Yeah, they're always like I think it was really cool to see that like there is another way, which we've not heard of or we've not seen.
But it does, it's cool to get that added on because it makes sense with what we know about ghosts so far, is that most of the time they are created by someone with unfinished business, someone who like has some regrets about stuff. So like obviously they're going to feel emotional about those regrets. So
and as they get more and more trapped, that emotion turns
and
from whatever it was into
too, like,
and that emotion slowly turns closer and closer to right.
Yeah. So it makes sense and it adds on in a fun and unique way. And I mean, Bobby being the one to go through all that and be like, well, I did this and I did that, so I'd be damned if I can't get some Zen up in here.
I'll be damned if I can't get Zen. I want that first of all, on a t-shirt.
Sir, I think you all are already a little bit damned because you ran away from your Reaper. So we'll talk about that later. But go ahead and get that Zen. Yes, Poppy, let's go.
He worked so hard too. Like he's so frustrated that he can't get there at the beginning, and he clearly practices so much. I love Bobby so much. Like I love that we see his personality. Like I have no doubt if Sam and Dean had to get to a place of Zen to get something done, they could do it. But Bobby is just like, I have so much confidence in Bobby. You just know that Bobby's so well-rounded in his skill set as a hunter. Competent,
yeah.
And like the fact that self-regulation is what enables him to save the day is like,
it's like, okay, I can see that being the one thing that he struggles with in his skill set is just to like totally meditate and relax and vibe out.
I think that's every hunter's struggle.
Yeah, because you're dealing with a very stressful job, which has very scary stuff and a lot of risks. So yeah, you should be on edge most of the time. Like that makes sense for you.
Yeah. You're not usually well adjusted emotionally. You're not usually great at self-regulation if you're a hunter. But the fact that he can get there.
Which, okay, that's another thing about Annie, that she seems to be the first hunter in fucking ages. Well, except for Garth, who doesn't have some sort of, semi-crippling addiction to something. Like they drink really heavily all the time.
Right. And we don't know much about her, but she does seem like she says she's lonely and she does not seem to be enjoying being a hunter. So that's why she's so willing to like let go, because she's like, my life kind of sucks. But yeah, she doesn't seem to have like any of the vices that every other hunter has.
Garth is the first one that's like, oh no, I'm sober. Like
I'm actually totally fine. Yeah. I'm actually totally well adjusted. I just happen to be a hunter.
I'm just a little weirdo guy. I make my little jokes and I have this fantasy built up in my head, but
I get a good hotel room because I deserve it, because when I'm not working, I'm like, I deserve nice things.
I fucking love Garth. Okay, but this episode isn't about Garth. It's almost not even like worth talking about the main bad guy ghost, because he was just kind of boring. Like he was an interesting-ish character, but not a good character or person or ghost or any of the above. Like it was just like, okay, here we needed a bad guy. Thanks for teaching us stuff. Bye.
Yeah, the actual like all of the, it's very interesting to me. Like as we've talked about this, we've like really not talked about like the actual plot. The actual plot kind of sucks, but like the world building that they've done around the plot, like this. We're recording this episode and it's like October 23rd, and I was like watching this episode and being like, this is such a good episode to be watching right before Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, Supernatural in general is, but like this is in particular, it's a haunted house. Like,
yeah, straight up.
A big fan.
But the plot itself, kind of
right. You're like, he wants power?
Cool.
Question mark. He wants.
And they never outright say it, but I imagine that absorbing other ghosts extends your period of your lifespan.
Disintegration.
Disintegration. Thank you.
Yeah, it does seem like he is doing well for a ghost.
Yeah, slicked hair. I'm pretty okay mustache if we're talking about that. But
I do think the only really fun, like interesting scene with him is the scene where he's talking to Bobby and Annie and telling them about being a ghost. I do think that's like his best scene.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like personality, and he's like being kind of ominous, but he's also giving them like interesting, important information.
Yeah, and even when he like goes for Bobby at the end, like he's not too like creepy of a villain.
That scary.
No,
he's not that scary.
And I get that he's got a lot of power, sure, yeah, but he's not also, like intimidating or imposing in any sort of way.
And they really take him out very easily.
Like, body type or whatever. Like people can be imposing if they're small and skinny or large and skinny. Like it doesn't matter. It's about how you carry yourself and how you speak to people. And he just wasn't selling it for me.
No, he really isn't. And again, I think he definitely feels like a plot device to set up this scenario and not so much like an actually imposing villain.
And they were like, also because they this clever misdirect with, you know, the big intimidating guy who supposedly killed the main guy's fiance, and then it's like, well, okay,
but from like literally the first scene, you see actual bad guy yelling at fake bad guy, and it's like very obvious. So then you get the information later. So like I feel like they give it away in the first scene that like the guy that's being yelled at is not your actual bad guy. Like
absolutely,
he's also innocent. It's the person who's screaming at someone with less power than they are that's like the bad guy. Whoa, what a surprise.
The rules. Wow, crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. I want to again say to all people who are not ghost hunters, not monster hunters, if the house is spooky, just leave.
Please.
If the house is spooky, just leave. Like don't investigate.
Well within your rights. Please don't. Well, okay, I say this, but I have done it. So, you know, I'm not your best example.
My sense of self-preservation is in this one area is strong.
In my hometown, there was this mansion, and I won't name the family or the town. So dig on that.
Hometown with a mansion.
Yep, they had a mansion on top of this big hill, and it was a really like well-respected family, but then it's been abandoned for like the past 70 years, 60 years.
Okay.
And it was sort of a rite of passage for a while that teens would sneak onto the property and, you know,
of course,
bring some drinks or smoke something or whatever. I had a few friends that I snuck in there with a tub of ice cream. No illegal substances at all. We just brought a Bluebell half gallon.
Incredible.
We sat on the roof. It was like the middle of the night.
I think that's what, if the house was haunted, that's what would save you.
That's fair because we weren't like doing anything risky or bad. We were just like hanging out, chatting, having some ice cream. It was fun. It was good vibes. Well, semi good vibes. That's not about the house though. That's about the people. You know who you are.
That's fair.
But it was a cool ass house. Like it was really fun to explore. And, you know, it had like 4 levels and then this like semi-hidden staircase that went up to the roof, which was kind of cool. Like it was like you had to go around this one corner and then like open this one door and then go around another corner through there. It was weird, but I loved it. I'm a sucker for sitting on roofs in the middle of the night.
Honestly, that does sound kind of great. And the thing is, I'm not even against like you can go to a spooky house. But what I specifically am like, don't do this, is like if you're in said spooky house or around said spooky property and then something starts to go weird, that's when you leave. Like you can go to an abandoned house, have fun, or knock yourself out.
If you've gotten confirmation that people you know have disappeared going in there.
Right. Like both the couple at the beginning and the 2 boys later on. I'm like, all 4 of you.
Can we just establish that?
Firmly also thought they were making their own video about themselves.
Yeah.
Because I forgot this episode. I forgot about that part of the episode.
They were a couple as well, for sure.
Yeah. I definitely thought they were being like, oh, we're going to this house and like gonna have a fun time.
They weren't. Fuck in there.
Yeah. And again, they definitely should know better. Yeah.
No, it's
your friends have gone missing. Maybe call emergency services and not go in there with a video camera.
Yep. Although to be fair, the video camera did save. Well, not save, but it informed the boys. It like kind of helped, but don't do it, guys. It's not worth your lives to do that.
No.
Bobby would have helped them anyway, so it's okay. Don't do it.
Oh.
But also, side note about that abandoned building, they had this dance hall and barn right outside, and so at one point I was like, well, I'm gonna go check out the barn because like, hey, what's over there? Nothing downstairs. It was like cool, whatever. And I was like, oh, there's this ladder that goes up to the loft. Climbed up the ladder, turned around, shone my light, and there's a fucking huge ass raven. I'm talking like 3.5 feet tall, just like an
omen. That's like the kind of raven that makes you think, that's got to be real.
Direct eye contact with him, and he just looked at me.
And you're still here.
And I was like, Yes, sir. We'll be leaving now. Thank you. Have a good day. I walked out and I said, guys, we're going. We have to go right now.
You know what? See, this is what I mean though. Is like even though you're like, don't listen to me, I'm not the example. When the omen happened, you were like, let's get the fuck out of here.
We gotta go right now.
You would not be killed in the first 5 minutes of a Supernatural episode. Well, you might, but not for that reason.
Well, okay, yeah. I might be killed for any number of reasons.
But not for the reason of I was stupid and stayed in a dangerous situation.
Yes. August, I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I need to compliment you more, I think. That's the nicest thing I've ever said to you. Is that they wouldn't kill you for being stupid in a Supernatural episode.
Tell me you're attention starved without telling me you're attention starved. No, it's fine. But if any listeners out there want to compliment me, please do. Just kidding. It's all good.
I don't have it. I'm looking at. Oh, there's a cute little shot of Dean fixing his hair. I do like the cute little shot of him fixing his hair. I think that was unnecessary,
but
shower
lovely. Scene, you know,
a very weird shower scene where
Bobby was in the room the whole time.
Bobby's in the room. Sam's talking to Dean while he showers, like, which seems like they're not. This case is not urgent enough that they like
aren't.
Dean couldn't have 10 minutes to like not be talking about. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, a little bit for sure.
And I know, but I love the little foggy mirror message because I do think that's like the greatest reveal.
Like when you shower with the door open, the mirror doesn't get quite as foggy.
Yes, you are correct.
Guys, let's think about the logistics and the physics of stuff here.
Right. Like Bobby could still have had he could still have done this with Dean having the door closed. Because like the flask could have been in his like pocket in the bathroom and he could have fogged up the glass and he could have written and then Dean could have found it and then called Sam in. Like you don't have to make it weird.
Like Bobby's like movable enough that even if he had left the jacket with the flask in it out on the bed, Bobby still could have gone to the mirror. Like when they're in the house, he can
go through the door.
Bobby can go all around until they leave the house.
True. He definitely could go within a motel room and bathroom.
Yeah.
You didn't need to leave the door open and make it super weird.
It was a little strange. But maybe the door was shut at the beginning and then Sam started trying to talk to Dean and then was like, okay, well here, I'm opening. Hey, okay, can you hear me?
Or see, even that would make it less weird. Or consider like other windows fog up sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
Like what if Bobby wrote on the window of the Impala? Like that would also be kind of sick.
Okay, wait.
Or not, sorry, they don't have the Impala right now.
No, well, yeah, that too. But also the way that most car windows fog up is through like.
No, but like I'm thinking like when you get into a car and it's cold out
and
it's fogged before you've started driving at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like
I'm saying sex in the car and that's why it's in this episode. No. Fuck.
No, I do not know. I do not want that. That's not what I'm advocating for. I'm not advocating for a foggy window before you started driving.
I like that.
But yeah.
I was really trying to find a good segue into it way earlier in the episode. But you know what? We did all the Bobby stuff, most of the Bobby stuff earlier on in the episode. So this is as good a time as any to do a totally natural, totally fitting segue into my mixtape pick for this episode.
Let's do it.
Bobby, as a father, constantly encourages and shouts out when the boys are being their best selves. And I love and respect him for that. And so I'm doing this mixtape Best Part by The Score. Ooh. And I'm doing it specifically from Dean's perspective. And the whole song is about, it's about accepting the worst aspects of yourself, but recognizing the people who call out the best parts of yourself at the same time. It's like, I can be a liar, I can be a cheat, neurotic, I can be a freak, I can be everything in between, but you always find the best part of me. Aww. And that's how Bobby is to Dean and Sam. And there's a whole bit about how I'm just not well, I'm my own worst enemy. I can't help myself. I think I'm going to hell, but I'll probably never leave. So,
Ow. Very well chosen. Ow.
Thank you.
That's I'm also kind of going with something thematically a little bit similar.
Beautiful.
And the song I've chosen is Weight of the World by John Foreman. And I'm thinking like from the perspective of sort of like Bobby as sort of this figure that's able to hold a lot for Sam and Dean, particularly in the chorus, says, I've been waiting for your capable hands to come down and turn this around. Your capable hands could carry the weight of the world. And when I think about like Sam and Dean and like how much they've struggled since Bobby's been gone and like how much emotional weight Bobby holds for them, this song just sort of like has that sort of feeling. Yeah. And I ever stop turning vaguely religious songs to be about supernatural? The answer is no.
Which,
the answer is no.
Let's speak about how, supernatural turns vaguely religious things to be supernatural, So,
this is also true. They started it.
If they can do it, we can do it.
Exactly.
Reclaiming our trauma one step at a time. But not John Foreman. Love John Foreman. He's an icon and a legend, and Switchblade will live in my brain forever. So
forever.
That was beautiful. I did have one final note. When Bobby is searching around the room where they know the bad guy dragged the bodies to, and they're like, so it's clearly, it was a speakeasy. Of course, there's going to be some hidden door somewhere. Let's try and find that. And then Bobby looks around and he finds it. He finds the thing that he can pull, and he can focus enough to pull it. First of all, love it. That character. Wonderful. But then he turns to Annie and is like, guess I still got it. And does like a swagger step on his way into the room. He's like,
Bobby's so like full of himself, but in like the best way in this episode, where Bobby's like, you need me. You bitches need me. Like,
motherfucker, I'm essential.
and he proves it. And he absolutely is. How have the Winchesters survived for the last half a dozen episodes without him?
God, I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense.
He's doing all the work in this episode. Great.
I love that for him.
Me too. Bing.
And for
Bing
Annie
Bobby.
too. Like, they were both pretty great.
They really were. They were a great duo. And I did, like, for all that we complained about sort of some of the writing with Annie, like, I did really like her. And I did think her and Bobby's chemistry was like,
and to be fair, most of the stuff we complained about is that we didn't have her more.
It's true. It's true.
She was great and a very interesting character, but underutilized in the story overall, for sure. Now that we've made it through that super spooky, very ghost-filled, very trauma Bobby-filled episode, it's time to move on to our sweetest section of the episode, our character blessing. August, who would you like to bless this week?
I thought for half a second.
Oh, you could never. You should never.
But I won't do that to you.
Well, okay, wait, let me clarify for the listeners at home. I believe you should think. I wasn't trying to say you shouldn't think, but don't even think about taking Bobby from me. That's the thing that I was cutting you off because I knew where you were going.
Yes, you did. And I did think I needed to like tease you with that a little bit and say, hey, what if I blessed Bobby? What are you gonna do? I am going to bless Victoria because she has a lot of courage to help them.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't really talk about her particularly because she's another character that like the narrative totally fucks over. And also multiple people like use really derogatory language towards her and her profession. And despite all that, she still like is a big part of them solving this case and did not deserve to die. Or be eliminated in a ghostly fashion the way that she did. And she showed a lot of courage, and I just want to bless her for that courage.
I respect that. That's a good blessing.
And also, if someone in sex work uses a specific term to refer to themselves, use that term. Don't fucking use a different term. Use the term they use.
Don't correct them on their job. Like, what the fuck?
Asshole behavior. Don't do that.
So bad. Oh
I was very pissed about that. Anyway, Victoria's great. She's brave. Blessings to her.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of what like the equivalent for our jobs would be. Like if you were like, oh well, I teach kids.
Yeah, would people call you a babysitter?
Oh shit. Okay.
It's not the same. I do not mean that this is the same.
No. But
if there was like a way of like sort of talking about degrading my job and being like and in an insulting way, it would be calling me a babysitter. I don't know what it would be for your job. I don't know what
mine would be. I'm a delivery driver, and that's pretty much as derogatory as it can get.
You do an essential, very hard job. That the fact that people don't respect it is shitty.
But we're talking about which one of our jobs is more essential. I'm gonna have to always defer to you on that one because yes, teach the future. Anyway.
Well, yeah, but also
blessings to teachers out there. That's what my blessing's about.
But also, like, to our delivery drivers, like, so much of the world does not function without you. I make use of your services all the time for things that help me do my job. So, like, we need each other. It's
a symbiotic relationship.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I like that.
Who are you blessing, Noah?
Anyway,
I mean,
my blessing.
How
this
are you
week,
blessing?
To no one's surprise, and August, feel free to throw on a bonus one if you want. I didn't mean to cut you off here, but
no, you're good.
Is obviously for Bobby because he's an icon and a legend, and I fucking love him so much. And the amount of care that he has put into these boys, specifically giving up his eternal happiness in heaven, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what that really is at this point, but he gave all of that up just so he can help them and be there for them and give them his love as long as he can. And he just found out that he has a time limit on that and he doesn't know what it is. And I don't look forward to the day when we figure out what that is.
Right. When it comes to call.
Yeah.
And
I'm not excited about that. But I will take any Bobby content I can because he is so giving and so kind and so caring. And a huge shout out to my man Bobby sticking in past the end. Like a lot of people, they're with you to the end of the line. Bobby went past the end of the line.
Bobby's like, you can't get rid of me. You need me too much.
Yep. And they did. They needed him. He gave them Cass.
Yeah, he's given them. He has solved several of the cases that they have had, and the key clues towards Cass and the Leviathans.
So, huge shout out to Bobby. Love you, bless him.
Yeah,
can't wait to see more. Unless it hurts me, then I can wait for a while.
Yeah, there we go. That's about right.
Perfect. I think that brings us right to the end of the episode for today.
It certainly does.
August, thank you so much for coming on. I love duo episodes so much.
Me too. It's so much fun. We
bounce off of each other so much, and it's like boom, 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 boom. It's very fun.
It's a great time. I'm having so much fun.
This was a blast. And so far, you were absolutely correct that Elena doesn't like season 7 for a very valid reason. And you thought I would like it. And I do. So far, so great.
I'm excited to finish up this season. I've had actually way more fun with this season than I think I thought. I thought I'd be a little bit more bored, and I really haven't been.
I do also think that this episode in particular marks 5 full seasons of me being on
5 seasons?
Every episode. Like not every episode, but
like being like on the team, like not just being a guest, being on the team.
Yeah, because 219 Folsom Prison Blues is when Elena and I first came on as official co-hosts.
Like that was the first Wow, 5 seasons. We got a message. We got to text Elena about this.
Yeah, we've gotta.
That's wow. Well, I'm really grateful for that.
I'm
Happy
glad that
seasons.
This was the two of us. That felt very good. We could have bullied Elena to come on this one too, just because of that reason. But we'll message her and let them know.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
thanks for inviting me along for the ride because
thanks for being here.
I have no idea what my life would look like without it because you guys mean a lot to me. Not to get sappy here on 719.
Don't make me.
But hey,
don't make me.
I will forever be thankful and grateful to you and the whole rest of the crew for having me along for the ride. And none of that would be possible without you, August, starting this show about a show that you've loved for ages and then being like, hey, anybody want to come on? And then having your best friend's younger brother on.
I'm really glad. I'm so grateful that you reached out to be a guest host and that you reached out again when I was looking for consistent hosts because it was you were not someone who I would have predicted to be a part of this, but I'm very eternally grateful because I also having this podcast has shaped my landscape of my friendships.
Oh, same.
And my creative life, those are the 2 areas of my life. This has been drastically shaped by this podcast. And I don't know that I would have been able to keep it going and have all of the amazing things that have come into my life without you joining it and Elena joining. And I'm very, very grateful to you and for literally keeping the wheels on editing wise.
No,
you're not allowed to deny it. Not allowed to deny it.
No, you're right. I accept that and I respect it. But if it was on to me to edit and schedule and do all the social stuff, it would be a disaster. So
symbiotic
we
relationship.
Split it up, symbiotic. We're good.
We are a good team and one I am very grateful for. And I
didn't think that this would end with both of us crying on the episode.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I was doing finger guns a second ago because I was trying to counteract the emotions that I was feeling.
Trying to be cool.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you like our show, you can subscribe to it wherever you listen to podcasts.
And you know what? This is as good a time as any to hype up all the listeners and say, hey, you know what? If you want to help support this show just as much as August or I or Elena or Sam have in the whole 7.19 seasons, we've got good, fun news coming up.
Yes, we do.
Are going to start a Patreon.
Yes.
So you guys can help let me take more time off from my job so I can edit episodes a lot more ahead of time and put a bit more effort into it.
Yes, we can compensate Noah for some of his endless labor.
And we've got some, well, for the first month of when we start, which will be August. Do you want to drop when we're gonna start it?
Yeah, the Patreon will be launching with the season 7 finale, so that's season 7 episode 23. We will talk about it, we will link it, you will hear all about it, and we got some like fun perks in the Patreon that we're really excited about. Some merch, some art, some stickers, some other surprise things, some opportunities to connect with the show in new ways through some events that we're going to run that we're really excited about.
Yes. And I think it's good to, hint at them now, give more details as we get closer.
Yeah.
Build up the suspense.
Yes.
But
so stay tuned.
For the first month, it is worth noting that we will have a special raffle for anyone who signs up at any level in the first month for a really cool handmade gift that we will also leave vague and ambiguous. But I've gotten one, Elena's gotten one, Sam, and it's
something I made for the hosts a couple of years ago, and I'm looking forward to making for a listener.
Yes.
So stay tuned for more news on that, which is going to be launching in about a month here. And until then, and to find out more about that, you can make sure you're subscribed. You can join our free Discord server. You can follow us on social media. And all of the information for that is in the episode description and also at our website, which is queeringthingspodcast.com.
We've also thrown up a Google survey to see what you guys feel about the Patreon and that sort of concept and that whole thing in general. That'll be down in the episode description. If you can take some time to fill that out, let us know what you think about it. Hit us up.
Yeah, we want to know what kind of things you would like from us if you were to join a Patreon, or if you're not interested at all. We'd like to know that too.
Would you want bonus content about other shows, our opinions on that? So we do less of that on the main show? Would you like...
We want to make stuff that you like.
We've got bloopers. We've got bloopers galore.
See what people potentially would be interested in. So yeah, we'd love any feedback. It's a really, really short survey. It's only a couple of questions.
Yeah. 5 minutes max.
Episode link is in the description.
Oh, speaking of other content that we have, we've also got our D&D show, which is with KJ of Supernatural Opinions. It's called Queering People, Saving Throws. We take a dive into a queer D&D adventure, releasing every other Friday right here on our feed. Oh, but speaking of, we are leaning towards splitting that off into its own separate podcast feed because we started this adventure back during the strike, and we realized very shortly into it that, hey, we actually really love doing this as a group, and our vibes
well past
really work, and we kept it going, and we've already got plans for the season 2 storyline, so look out for that in the coming weeks. We'll be probably double posting as we go along, but
keep your eye out because that feed will be changing in the future, but we'll make sure you have a lot of notice, and for now you can listen to all of the back episodes of that show on this main feed
right here with us.
And speaking of right here with us, be sure to ride along with us next week. And also speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, we are going to be exploring season 7 episode 20, The Girl with the Dungeons and Dragons Tattoo, through the theme of individuality. I can't wait.
For all the listeners out there, for a long time I've been theorizing. Well, I say long time. From the start of season 7, I've been theorizing that this could be the episode where the character that I've been waiting for ages, a dear friend of mine, said that I will love this character to death. Maybe literally, she didn't clarify. If Charlie shows up next week, I'm gonna lose my shit. But I don't know.
So come listen and find out.
Come join us. I can lose my shit in multiple episodes in a row. It's fine.
No, this entire season has just been you like losing your shit, like more than I think any other season so far. Actually,
so.
Like
Ellen
you've
and
had
Joe
more
got me
like
close, but
you've had more freak out moments in episodes this season.
Yeah.
I think it's also as you've gotten more and more invested in the show.
Yep, that's
that will
also
just happen
true.
more. But
God, I can't wait for the next 7.5 seasons. Fuck.
Yeah. We got so long. We got so much to go. So much to come.
Thank all of you, every single fucking one of you, for coming along for the ride. And we all here at Saving People Queering Things.
Yep, you had to think about that for a second, but you did get the right name.
Wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.